Hello and welcome to another special edition covering the news happening around the world here on Nile TV International. And U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Thursday said that there were limits to what Washington would accept in any deal with Iran, warning that permitting Tehran to charge fees in the Strait of Hormuz would open the door to what he called total chaos. Now, every day since the Americans and the Iranians reached a memorandum of understanding to talk for 60 days and try to reach a comprehensive deal, we've been seeing fiery statements from Tehran and fiery statements from Washington, and incidents also on the ground. And today we had an incident in the Strait of Hormuz and attributed to Iran as a cargo ship was attacked, and that led to a small rise in the price of oil. WTI is now 72, Brent is 75, but those are very, very, very good prices compared to, these are pre-war prices, because of course they had fallen to 69, WTI fell to 69, and as low as 69, and Brent fell as low as 72 days following the American-Iranian MOU. But again, fiery statements here and there. The U.S. President warning that he could strike Iran again if they don't, entre parenthèses, behave, and the Iranians threatening to walk out of the negotiations, and contradictory statements about whether the nuclear inspectors issue was part of the deal, and things about the Strait of Hormuz and other things about Lebanon, and still a tense situation, although a de-escalated one between Israel and Lebanon. We'll be talking about all of that with our dear distinguished guest with us now over the phone from Washington, D.C., Dr. Paul Davis, the professor at the Institute of World Politics, the military and strategic and economic expert. Good afternoon, Dr. Davis. Always a pleasure to have you with us.
Good afternoon, and it's a pleasure to be back. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Now, this is the first time that we talk since the MOU was signed. So first of all, I wanted to know your very first impressions after the MOU was signed, first digitally, and then the two delegations met in Switzerland. Were you surprised? What were your very first impressions after the signing of the MOU? And the direct question is this a deal to make a deal? Is it an understanding to try and reach an understanding, or are we already, or have we already passed through the worst times and embarking on a process with no way of going backwards?
Well, my first impression of it was, why did we do it now? But then I came to read it and see what was in it and what was being said and how it was being presented. Understanding that it's a memorandum of understanding, which is nothing more in this case than an outline, a framework for future discussions. Unfortunately, everybody calls it a deal. It is not a deal. It's merely a framework of what we're going to talk in the future. And anything in that framework can be discussed and rejected and accepted. So we are very, very just at the very beginning of all of this.
Right.
And which now we're seeing a lot of problems arising from misunderstandings.
Right. And I guess the problems that we are seeing day in and day out are not surprising you. Let me ask you about some of these issues. And first of all, maybe the most important issue of all, the nuclear issue. The Americans say that the presence of nuclear inspectors on the ground in Iran was part of the MOU. The Iranians deny that. So let's talk about this. I mean, a lot of times we found ourselves in the 100 plus days lost between the two sides, and we found it very difficult to believe either of the two sides. So what's your take regarding that issue about the nuclear inspectors? And how dangerous is it to have a dispute about that sensitive issue?
Well, unfortunately, the diplomatic language that's in the MOU is a little ambiguous, and can be taken either way. Paragraph 8 of the MOU specifically states that the IAEA will be on site at a minimum while they downblend the enriched uranium that is now at 60% and try to bring it further down, if it's decided to downblend it and not just simply remove it. The U.S. side took that to mean IAEA inspectors will be involved in every aspect of the uranium enrichment. IAEA director backed up the U.S. and said that was his impression, that the IAEA would be involved in every step of the way.
Yes.
Iran then turned around and said, no, there will be no inspections because that's a violation of Iranian sovereignty. Maybe the problem is the term inspectors, or it simply was accepted by Iran knowing that they were not going to allow it. Like under the JCPOA, they allowed inspectors in at a prearranged and scheduled time, except in certain areas that they deemed military and would not let inspectors in. So yes, this can be a very dangerous aspect of this, because this is the #1 issue for the United States.
Yes. And okay, let's talk also about the Strait of Hormuz, because Iran again is talking about fees or administrative fees or tolls or whatever, and at least it says that the situation regarding the Strait of Hormuz will never be the same again. And of course, this is something that's a red line also for the Americans, and the whole MOU was about opening the Strait of Hormuz. And so we had an incident today in the Strait, although in the past few days we've seen navigation really improve to levels, not quite as good as before the war, of course, but to the highest level since the war began. So again, there are differences regarding the Strait of Hormuz, that Mr. Trump had said once that he's gonna run it with the Ayatollah, and Mr. Trump threatened again to overtake the Strait and to impose tolls himself. So I mean, it's a very bizarre situation. Yeah,
it's beyond bizarre, but it's a situation right now where initially everybody looked at the initial MOU, talked about the impression that everybody had that the Strait of Hormuz would be opened up, returned to freedom of navigation, that the Strait would just return to the way it was before, allowing oil tankers to freely transit. Then Iran came up and said, well, we're not going to impose fees, but we're going to impose an economic fee in order to clean up any oil spills.
Yeah.
Not mentioned in anything.
Yeah.
And then Iran said Oman and Iran will determine how the Strait is to be managed.
Yeah, because they supposedly, they said because Iran and Oman have so-called sovereignty over the waterway. Right. Yes.
Yeah, and Oman itself said, no matter what, they're not imposing fees. But then again, we have to go back to international law. I mean, Iran loves to quote things that they do and say international law. International law for this strait is that it is open and free for international navigation, and nobody controls it. So then we have that problem right now. And then, as you mentioned at the beginning of the program, the attack on the tanker today.
Yes.
And this is the problem is it was the IRGC that attacked. The tanker was on the Oman side of the strait. So it appears that, as we've talked before, it appears that the civil authorities and the military authorities in Iran are still not talking to each other, or the one is trying to overtake the other, regardless of what they seem to say, that they are in that they're a joint committee and they're working together. Apparently they're not.
Yeah. Also, Lebanon is another sticking issue, and will probably remain so. How do you see the future, the near future of the situation in Lebanon? And today we have the last day in Washington of the fourth round of talks between the Israelis and the Lebanese.
Well, just saying that tells us what some of the problems are going to be. Israel and Lebanon are talking. Israel and Lebanon are trying to come to a conclusion. Iran is trying to interject itself into the whole thing. And then we have, of course, we can say that Hezbollah is another party, but again, let's take Hezbollah as the fact that Hezbollah is nothing more than an extension of the Iranian military. It is fully funded, trained, and controlled by Tehran. So we have that problem. Lebanon has said they want Hezbollah out or disarmed. And Iran says that that they're there to defend Lebanese sovereignty. Yet Lebanon is saying, no, there's not a problem there. The only problem is Hezbollah. And at one point, the Lebanese government ordered the arrest and deportation of all IRGC personnel found, and also ordered the expulsion of the Iranian ambassador to Beirut. He's not gone. He's holed up in the embassy and will not leave. So, we have Lebanon is a powder keg that's waiting to explode, but it's not the Lebanese, it's not the Israelis, it's not the United States, it's Iran. Iran is insisting that they are in charge of what's going on in Lebanon, even though Lebanon is saying, we don't want you here, we don't want you using us as a debate point, we want you out.
Yes, of course, that's very clear. But also, Dr. Davis, the Lebanese president has made it clear, Mr. Joseph Aoun, that he wants Israel to withdraw from the areas it occupies in Lebanon, and Israel is insistent it won't. And that's a very tough issue, a very complex problem to deal with. But even the Lebanese government want the Israelis out of southern Lebanon, not just Hezbollah gone, but they also want the Israelis gone from Lebanon.
Yeah, and that's the catch-22. I mean, if they want everybody gone, they want Hezbollah disarmed and removed, and they want Israel to pull out of southern Lebanon. But Israel says there's an imminent danger as long as Hezbollah is armed. So we have that problem. Who moves first? Does Hezbollah disarm and then Israel pulls out? Does Israel pull out hoping against hope that Hezbollah will now no longer be a threat and will disarm? So, looking at it from a logical standpoint, if Israel just uses it as a defense in depth and says, as soon as Hezbollah is no longer a threat, we're more than happy to leave. They have no territorial claims. This is all defensive of northern Israel.
Yeah, I mean, it is catch-22. That's as you described it perfectly, Dr. Davis. So we have So what have we done? I mean, so we still have disputes, differences between the Americans and the Iranians regarding the nuclear issue. Will there be inspectors or not? Regarding hormones, will there be fees or tolls or whatever? And regarding Lebanon, so all we did is an extension of the ceasefire. That's all we did. I mean, should we? Yeah,
No,
that's
basically, that's what we've done. An extension of the ceasefire while we continue to talk over the issues.
And how optimistic or pessimistic should we be about the upcoming, the rest of the 60 days, and potentially the extension of the 60 days for 1, 2, or 3, or 4 times, or whatever number of times?
I hope we get to the end of the 60 days, but I'm not optimistic that it's going to happen. I mean, basically, if Israel stays in Lebanon, Iran can claim that to be a violation of the agreement. If Iran continues to impose its will on the Strait of Hormuz, that could be considered by the United States a violation of the agreement. And any violation of the agreement can ultimately end up in saying the agreement no longer is valid because too many violations have occurred. Like I said, I'm not optimistic that we're even going to make it to the end of the 60 days, but I hope we will.
Okay. So the risk exists, as far as you are concerned, Dr. Davis, that Mr. Trump would follow through with his threat to strike Iran again if things don't go according to plan. The risk exists.
The risk always exists. And again, the risk exists that somewhere along the line, if Iran decides that Israel should be moving out of Lebanon, that Iran can, and they did this after the MOU was signed, that they can fire missiles into northern Israel or even southern Lebanon to impose their will. And right now, this is what it is. It's a fight of wills. Who's the bigger?
I'll go back to Lebanon again, but allow me to ask you a couple of questions again about the American and Iranian positions following the signing of the MOU. Were you surprised? I mean, I personally, or at least many analysts, were surprised that maybe on the very first day of the signing of the MOU, or maybe the following day, Mr. Trump was threatening to strike again. Did that take you by surprise?
No, that did not, unfortunately. This is Trump. Again, this is coercive diplomacy, is what it's called. He's just, I want a diplomatic solution, but you must understand, I have the power to strike you. And this is called coercive diplomacy.
But it was really a shocker, at least for many of us here in this region. What about the Iranian stance? Also, isn't it, I mean, the Iranians are flexing their muscles, and this is maybe also surprising to many analysts. I mean, you thought that after they were hammered. I mean, they did lose 10, 15, or 20 years or whatever. But I mean, they are again taking hawkish positions from day one of the signing of the MOU regarding the nuclear issue, the Strait of Hormuz, Lebanon. They are trying to portray themselves as the winners. So is this taking?
We have two problems here. One is a cultural misunderstanding, whereas Trump is trying to extend an olive branch and show compassion, regardless of what he's threatening. He's trying to lead us into some type of a deal. And I think the Iranians somehow see any sign of compassion as a sign of weakness, which means we won, so he's backing up, he's running away. And this does fall into, and it's not completely the excuse, but the fact that the Iranian theocracy is based on Shia Twelvism. And they are not afraid of pushing hard because they're looking for that battle at the end of days.
You see, it seems, Dr. Davis, that we will keep asking ourselves the same questions time and again until we do have a comprehensive deal, if we ever have that comprehensive deal that takes into account the security concerns of everybody here in the region. It seems the question, the two sides, the Americans and the Iranians, as much as they mistrust each other, they also got us as observers and analysts and media personnel and academians also to mistrust the whole thing, the whole situation, the whole scenario. What do you think?
Yeah, well, we're hoping for a comprehensive situation, a resolution, a solid resolution to this problem. And if we're waiting for that, you and I have a lot of job security. Because it's not going to happen easy. It's not going to happen quick. And I think ultimately it's going to be either Iran is going to extend itself militarily around the region, and the region is going to revolt against Iran, or Iran is going to be compelled to end the regime. That's the only solution that we have in this situation right now. There's not a true diplomatic solution other than it's an intermittent solution that'll just hold off the crisis.
And Dr. Davis, also, as much as all observers are wary and skeptic about the potential success of these talks, they also do understand, I think, and you're the expert, they do also understand that both Mr. Trump and Mr. Mujtaba Khamenei, or whoever is running the affairs in Iran, they both want to get this war behind them. They both are fed up and tired of the war and its repercussions.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But they also both have a different end state in their vision. And so that's what we have to negotiate. And right now we're trying to negotiate it, but neither side is compromising with the other.
And how is the deal or the MOU? Again, yes, you're very correct and precise. It's just an MOU. How is the MOU perceived amongst the American public? I mean, is it perceived, as some sort of so-called weakness from the part of Mr. Trump? Because we heard former U.S. President Barack Obama saying that Mr. Trump is not going to have a deal that is better than his. Or is it perceived, or is the thing welcomed in America simply because it got gasoline prices plummeting and inflation dropping heavily?
Well, right now it's perceived both ways. We're happy to see the oil prices come down. We're happy to see that gas prices have begun coming down. But there's also a perception that it is it is showing a weakness on the United States, that they're trying to concede too much. And from that point, almost immediately, Trump began to back up on some of the things that he thought he was conceding on. And this is the ultimate problem. The biggest problem is it's going to come down to the nuclear issue, because that was the number one reason that we did this. This is the number one concern of our ally Israel, and this is in fact a concern with Europe, because nobody wants to see a nuclear-armed Iran. And also, the other fact is that Iran now says the ballistic missile issue is off the table, which concerns Europe, because we know that they have developed and can build missiles that can reach Europe.
But it does seem that it is off the table, at least for now, and the Americans have not countered that, right?
Well, that wasn't part of the MOU. And I think basically from a diplomatic standpoint, you have to adjust your reach. I mean, let's get rid of the nukes first. Then we can worry about what's carrying the nukes. I mean, that could be a secondary thing. Maybe get the oil flowing, get the nukes out of the way, and then we're a little bit happier. Lebanon then would come after that, and then the ballistic missile issue.
Well, at least the oil is flowing all right, and let me, just remind our viewers that you and Mr. Trump were absolutely dead right when it came to expectations regarding the oil prices, because I remember I asked you, where do you think, Dr. Davis, oil prices will be once we do have some sort of understanding and navigation is somewhat goes back to normalcy or near normalcy? And you told me it will go down to the 70s and lower than that. And really, not many people expected that. And Mr. Trump had also said that oil prices would drop, like a rock, and they did. I mean, it was amazing. 70 and 69, for WTI, and 72 and 70.
I think, again, because the oil price that went up was an artificial increase in oil. And so as soon as that blockage, as soon as the oil started flowing, it's going to come down to where the market said it should be. So I'm glad I was right, but give myself a pat on the back, but it really wasn't that tough a call.
All right, you're an economic expert as well, so it's your one of the areas of your expertise, sir. Just 2 or 3 quick questions as we wrap up here. Lebanon. Mr. Trump recently warned the Israeli Prime Minister not to strike Beirut specifically, and not to go down and knock buildings down in Beirut. And he also asked him to learn the lesson. That was surprising to many analysts, but he asked him to learn the way to deal with Hezbollah from Ahmad al-Shara, the Syrian president. If you remember that speech. What were your impressions after that speech? And his comments about Shara? And the second point here, is Netanyahu likely to abide by Mr. Trump's orders, or is he going to do this to some extent but not to a full extent? Because day in and day out, the Israeli war crime suspect prime minister is saying he will not withdraw from Lebanon, he will not withdraw from Syria, he will not withdraw from Gaza, he will not withdraw from anywhere. And his latest statements were today. And we had an incident in Lebanon today. 3 people were killed in a car explosion and targeted Israeli missile.
Well, again, first off, I would tend to disagree with the President Trump on looking for a share as a model of what to do. Although I think he has some. I know what he's trying to tell Netanyahu, but again, we have to look at the Israeli the existential threat that Israel faces constantly. I mean, this is we don't want to knock down buildings. It's a difficult decision to make, but we also know that much of the Hezbollah manufacturing of weapons is conducted inside buildings in Beirut. Now, whether all of that has been taken care of and they won't have a need for it anymore, or whether we can convince Lebanon to take control of those situations and move it forward and try to take care of that. Again, Netanyahu is in a tough situation with he's got his internal people that he's got to deal with, and he's got to protect northern Israel. And protecting northern Israel means he has to go in and blow up things that are in southern Lebanon, and he has to do it. And unfortunately, Hezbollah is a terrorist organization, and they hide behind civilians.
So how do you see the Trump-Netanyahu relationship moving forward, Dr. Davis?
They are they are personal friends. A lot of people ignore that problem. They were friends back in their young days in New York City. So there's a personal connection between them. Now Trump is still going to want to take a certain amount of control. And Yahoo's going to push back. He will listen as far as he thinks he can until his personal political situation changes that. And I think Trump understands that. But Trump will openly say he has to do this, and then now will say, no, I'm not going to. So there's going to be a compromise there.
All right.
But at
Okay.
the end of the day, it all comes down to if Iran wanted this to end, if Iran really wanted Israel out of southern Lebanon, they would simply disarm their proxies, Hezbollah. And we know that's not going to happen.
All right, and as we wrap up here, I would just like to wrap up with a couple of sports notes. Congratulations for the New York Knicks winning the NBA championship. So congratulations to Mr. Trump. Congratulations to you, Dr. Davis. I know you were rooting for the Knicks, and they did a great job. Jalen Brunson did a very, very good job.
Yeah.
And the Knicks
he can do anything he wants in New York City right now.
And the Knicks have a fan base, by the way, not only inside the U.S. but of course around the world, including, by the way, here in Egypt. By the way, Egypt.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yes. And by the way, Egypt is doing very well at the World Cup, just like the United.
Yes, they are.
Just like the United States. Congratulations again. 6 points from 2 matches. And by the way, Egypt is playing Iran on Saturday
Yes,
morning. Yeah, on Saturday morning here in Egypt, Cairo local time, and the Iranians could face the Americans somewhere down the line in the World Cup, maybe in the round of 16, maybe, or
yeah.
And also there could be a U.S.-Egypt match, by the way, in the round of 16. So it's been a very successful.
More comically is that the U.S. and England may face each other in Philadelphia on the 4th of July.
4th of July. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. We understand that Mr. Trump is going to attend the final. That's what we understand. That's what we heard, from Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president. So probably he will not attend any matches before the final. I mean, we can assume.
No. The security situation and the fact that how far apart they are spread. They're Mexico, United States, and Canada. They're spread over thousands of square miles.
All right. I'm glad you are following the FIFA World Cup, sir. I'm really glad, and I'm sure that the soccer, as you call it in the United States, or football, as the rest of the world calls it, will have a much bigger fan base in America after this World Cup.
Well, they have a pretty good sized one right now.
Yeah.
It's not anywhere near with, say, baseball or football.
Yeah.
But they have a pretty good sized one. And I follow it. I was my son's soccer coach when he was young.
All right. Good luck to the American team, to the Egyptian team,
Thank you.
and to all the teams there at the FIFA World Cup in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. And thank you, as always, Dr. Paul Davis, the professor at the Institute of World Politics, for your time and your insight. Always a pleasure.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching us. In some 10 minutes from now, we'll be back with a panorama of news and look at the stories making the headlines here in Egypt, across the region and around the globe. Please don't go far.